everybody, Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 2,500 point battle. Lord Tremendous of the Warriors of Chaos versus Tyrant Death Star of the Ogre Kingdoms. That's right, I got an Ogre game in. I know, you're excited. This is my list. It's pretty much the Shiloh GT list that I'm going to settle on. I do tweak it after my next two games, but basically what you see is what you get. My general is going to be my Demon Prince, Lord Tremendous, with the Mark Zinch. She's level 3 wizard with the Chaos Armor, Charm Shield, Dragon Mane Gem, Other Trickster Shard, Soul Feeder, Scaled Skin, Unholy Strike, and Laura Metal. My hero choices are my Exalted Hero, Catalyst, the Keeper of Secrets, Keeper of Colors. He's got the Mark Zinch. He's on a Chaos Steed. He's my BSB. He's got a Halberd, Helm of Many Eyes, Dawnstone, and Burning Body. And one of my subscribers, listeners, whatever you want to call them, actually gave me the idea for this kit out on one of my last battle reports, so I want to make sure I give him the credit that he deserves. So please, man, stand up, take a bow. I do appreciate it very, very much. And my second Exalted Hero is Berserk. He's got the Mark of Corn, he's got the extra hand weapon, Dragon Helm, and Crown of Command. And I went less gamble and more utility with him because, well, number one, it ends up working really well. And number two, I went through about 16 lists since my last game, just trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do for the Shiloh GT and how I wanted this list to work. And so I knew I liked him. I just didn't like the fact that when he would turn into a Demon Prince, he'd jump out of the combat and then that unit would lose all of his killing power. So I decided to go with the Crown of Command and the Dragon Helm and everything else because he just makes that unit stubborn. And while he's not the easiest thing in the world to kill, he's not the hardest thing in the world to kill either. So I figured, give him the Crown of Command kind of gives that unit some staying power, provided that he survives. Last but not least is my Chaos Sorcerer, Saval, the Mercenary of Chaos. He's got the Mark Zinch, he's level 2 wizard, he's on a Demonic Mount, Enchanted Shield, Skull Katam, Talisman of Protection, and Laura Zinch, because I like the Laura Zinch. My core choices were a unit of 5 Chaos Warhounds, a unit of 23 Chaos Warriors, Blood Tide, with the Mark of Corn, Full Command, Halberds, and the Banner of Rage, because I like the idea of my Corn Warriors never losing Frenzy. That's very cool. Last but not least is my one remaining Chariot, the Vessel of Change, with the Mark of Zinch. My special choice consists of 5 Chaos Knights, the Teeth of Zinch, with Mark of Zinch and Sorceled Weapons, Banner, Musician, and the Standard of Discipline. And my rare choices are 3 Skull Crushers, Corn's Wrath, with Banner Musician, Lances, and a Banner of Swiftness, because if there's one thing I can do is fail charges. So Movement 8 makes it a little bit easier for them to get into combat. Last but not least, though, is of course the Mutalith Vortex. Gotta love the beast. My opponent's list, and it's strictly from memory because I didn't get a picture of it. He had a Tyrant with an extra hand weapon, the Armor of Fortune, and a Crown of Command, I think. And he also had a Slaughtermaster, who was a level 4 wizard with a Gambler's Armor. I think maybe his Slaughtermaster had maybe like a Dispel Scroll or something. I really don't remember. You'll see why. And used the Lore of the Great Maw. His hero choices were a Bruiser, who was his BSB, with an Iron Fist and the Rune Maw. And his core choices were 10 Nobblers with that sharp stuff and everything like that, 14 Iron Guts, Full Command, and the Razor Standard. And his special choice was a huge unit of 10 Man-Eaters with Stubborn and Poison as their Been There Done That rule, Full Command, 2 Great Weapons, 4 extra hand weapons, and everyone else was just regular weapons, with the Dragonhide banner thrown in there for flavor. And his rare choices were, of course, the obligatory 2 Iron Blasters. Here are my spells, 2 from Zinch, 3 from Metal, and 1 from the Beast. I did not get a picture of his spells because I completely forgot. However, it's not that big of a deal, and you'll see why. Here's deployment. For the most part, I'm going to try to surround him, He's got 2 big bricks of Ogres, a little itty-bitty group of Nobblars, and 2 cannons. That's 2,500 points right there. Yeah, Ogres, gotta love them, huh? For the most part, like I said, I was going to try to surround him. I left my heavy hitters with my Corn guys right up against his stuff. My Chariot was going in there just to push over the edge wherever it needed. The Demon Prince was going to go after the Man-Eaters. Because at this point, I didn't know if they had the Dragonhide banner or the Banner of Eternal Flame. I figured if they had the Eternal Flame banner, my Demon Prince was set. Meanwhile, my knights, Saval and my Mulith were just going to go after the Nobblers and the cannon over there on the right, and I was going to leave the Iron Guts for dead last because I didn't get or maybe I did. I don't remember. No, I didn't get final transmutation this game, so I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to deal with the Iron Guts other than just brute force. So I decided to try to take out the rest of his army before I got there. There's a picture of pretty much my opponent's entire army. From left to right, in the back there's one of his Iron Blasters. In front of us are his Man-Eaters with the Slaughter Brute attached, which I saw as a mistake, since he had a Slaughter Brute in with the Man-Eaters. That gave me a chance to take out his casting, because he only has the one caster, and without having to deal with anything too scary. Yeah, there's a couple of Man-Eaters with, great weapons, but whoop the F and do. It's not a unit of 20 of them or whatever it is, like the Iron Gut Brick right next to him with his Tyrant and his BSB installed. Right next to his Iron Gut Brick with his Tyrant and his BSB installed is his unit of Nobblars, and right behind the Nobblars is the second Iron Blaster. That's it. Here's my right flank. There's the Beast. Right next to them is Saval, my Chaos Sorcerer. Right next to them are my Chaos Knights with my BSB attached. Here's my center. There's my Khorne Warriors with Halberds with Berserk attached. Right in front of them are my dogs, just trying to make that so that they don't have to charge the Ogres unless they have to. Or until I'm ready for them to, whichever. There's my Tzeentch Chariot. Right next to them is my Skull Crushers. And here's my left flank, my Demon Prince. Tremendous. So, here's top of one after movement. And as you can see, he got to go first. Go figure, he got the +1, huh? But, yeah, and they just kind of come up. The Nobblers run up as fast as they can. The Iron Guts and the Man-Eaters stay, right next to each other, while the Iron Blasters just turn to get in a better shooting shot. During his magic phase, he gets +1 toughness off on his Nobblars, making them toughness 4, I think, which is just whee! And then in his shooting phase, one of his Iron Blasters shoots my Skull Crushers and does like 6 wounds to him. So he obliterates one of the 3 Skull Crushers I have, which is awesome! So we go to bottom of 1 after movement, and as you can see, I move up. The Knights do attempt to charge the Nobblars, needing like a 8, and I roll a 5, because I roll awful for charging with my Knights. I don't know why, it's just fate. The dogs run up to dare the Iron Guts to come after them. The Khorne Warriors, the Tzeentch Chariot, and the Skull Crushers all kind of hang back because I'm trying to bait the Man-Eaters with my Demon Prince. I figured he'd go for it. I put him in the forest just because whatever. I knew they were stubborn, but whatever. I put my guy in the forest in case the stupid cannons in case he didn't charge and the cannons tried to shoot him or whatever, the forest would stop the cannonball. So that was the plan there, but if he did charge, it would open up the flank to my Skull Crushers and my Chariot, possibly even my Khorne Warriors if I felt like it. The dogs stay there to hold the Iron Guts at bay, and the Mulith was going to go try to get a spell off on the Nobblers, because although they're toughness 4 right now, they're still the best option I have. And like I said, the Knights failed their charge, which is awesome. Meanwhile, Saval ran around to start magicking stuff, because that's what he does. There's a better picture of the Knights somehow failing their charge on the Nobblars, which is embarrassing, to say the least. My Beast does get his spell off on the Nobblars, and I think 1 dies, but I make him cause fear. So these Nobblars are becoming badass really quick. Here's top of 2 after movement, and as you can see, the Man-Eaters went in for the bait. They charged my Demon Prince, who gladly stayed. The Iron Guts tried to scoot around the dogs, but the dogs are just going to shift over and dare them. Meanwhile, his Nobblar stayed put, and his Iron Blasters just turned to face a little bit better. During his match phase, he gets +1 toughness off on his Man-Eaters again. And, oh, wait, I'm sorry, before we get to that, though, the Man-Eaters do charge into my Demon Prince, which is perfect, and there's a better picture of that right there. And then during the magic phase, he gets +1 toughness off on the Man-Eaters. Sorry about that, I had the pictures flipped. However, the +1 toughness he gets off on his Man-Eaters is irresistible, and he rolls a 3 on the chart, which means, boom, not only does he end up killing off his Slaughtermaster here, he ends up going into the warp, but he ends up doing like 3 or 4 wounds to the unit, and he loses one of his Man-Eaters right off the bat. So that's awesome. His magic phase is zotted right off the bat. During the shooting phase, to keep with tradition, he gets a misfire, but this time he rolls a 4 instead of a 5 or a 6, which is kind of nice. So this particular Iron Blaster can't shoot for this turn or next. However, the Noblars do decide to throw some sharp stuff at my dog, and they kill the fox terrier, which is just sad. It's just sad. Nobody should kill the dogs. In combat, yeah, my Demon Prince is just gonna eat their face. Yeah, they're toughness 5, but I'm strength 6, so bring it on. I'm not scared of you. And I end up killing 2 of them, one of them, something like that. And I leave a wound on one, and they swing back, and they're not able to hurt me, cause I'm mother effing Lord Tremendous. I don't know if you knew that or not, but you better call somebody. But yeah, obviously they're stubborn and they don't go away. So here's bottom of 2 after movement, and as you can see, I send in the Skull Crushers and the Chariot. And the Knights hit the Noblars finally, which is nice. The dogs shift over a little bit to try to block the Iron Guts. And my Corn Warriors just kind of reform right where they're at in order to, what's it called? Get a better shot off at the Iron Guts. Because I figured they would go after the Chariot and the Skull Crushers, stuff like that. There's a better picture of the Crushers and the Chariot into the Man-Eaters. And a better picture of the Knights slamming into the Noblars, because they's gots to die. I did charge with Saval and my Mutilith into the flank of this of his cannon, just for combat res, try to get off the table, whatever. But they both fail, so it is what it is. But in Magic, I get Bolt of Change off on his Iron Blaster, and while I only end up doing like a wound to him, he passes his toughness check, and now he has a 6-up regen, which is kind of cool. I was hoping to do more damage to him with that spell, but it is what it is. Combat goes really, really well for me against the Man-Eaters. I end up slaughtering like 4 or 5 of them. It's glorious, it really is. But in the end, I win by a ton, and they end up making their stubborn checks. So it is what it is. But the cool part is my Chariot's out of combat now, so if the Iron Guts do charge me, I can flee and maybe get away. And easily my Knights are able to take out his Noblars, and they overrun trying to hit the cannon and fail. Due to everything that was going on and lack of attention to detail, I completely forget to take a picture, and so I apologize. I suck. Top of 3 after movement picture did not get taken. But nothing really happened in Magic, so we went into combat, and his Iron Guts ended up charging my dogs. I think he thought I was going to flee with them. They stayed. He kills them, no problem. But the resulting overrun, he only moves right in front of my Corn Warriors. So at least I get the charge off on him, which is kind of nice. And then in combat over here, I flub a little bit, and I end up only killing like 2 of the remaining Man-Eaters. They end up making their stubborn check, thanks to the BSB being in range, but they do end up making their stubborn check, and they don't go anywhere, which is poop. So here's bottom of 3 after movement, and as you can see, I charge into the Iron Guts, and my Chariot makes a long distance charge into the flank of his Iron Blaster, which is awesome. Meanwhile, the Knights just kind of shift around to get into the Iron Guts, because I'm hoping with stubborn and everything like that, that my Warriors and everything are still there. There's a better picture of my Chariot slamming into the Iron Blaster. And there's a better picture of my unpainted Corn Warriors slamming into the Iron Guts. Nothing happens in Magic, so we go into combat, and yeah, I'm able to easily finish off the last 2 Man-Eaters, which is great. We both turn to face the Iron Guts, because I know I have to get into this combat. And while my Chariot does not end up finishing off the cannon just in combat, he is able to break him, and he flees off the table, which is great. And I'm looking at his other cannon, which means it's going to have to move or kill me. Oh, and then in combat over here, I flubbed really, really bad with my Corn Warriors, which sucks. I end up losing, well, everything that you see there. We do end up losing this combat too. I think I only kill like 2 of his Iron Guts, and I put a wound on his Tyrant with my with Berserk. My unit champion issues a challenge, and it's accepted by his unit champion. I immediately flub, and his unit champion is able to kill mine. He only does 1 wound to him, or maybe 2, but it's enough. Meanwhile, I send all my attacks after his Tyrant, just going for character popping at this point. And I'm only able to slip 1 through. His BSB, I throw like 9 or 12 attacks at his BSB as well, and I think I only do 1 wound to him. It's really frustrating. Meanwhile, he has a field day and kills 4, 8, 12, 16, 17 of my guys. It's painful. It's very, very painful. But I still have about 6 left and my character, so we're stubborn and we stick around. So here's top of 4 after movement, and there's not been a whole lot. His Iron Blaster moves up to get a better grape shot at my knights, and that's it. Everything else of his is dead or off the table. Or in combat, anyway. During his shooting phase, he's able to grape shot 8 shots into my knights. I make 0 saves, and well, I don't remember how many he hits. I think he hits with 6, needing 5s, which is a little bit more than ridiculous. But I guess I shouldn't complain too much because nobody likes it when I complain. And I don't really care. It sucks that my knights are dead, but I still think I've pretty much got this game. But all my knights died. My BSB, who has the Helm of Many Eyes, is immune to psychology because that's where we're playing it now. Although I know everybody plays it that way. I can't get there. I don't see how you guys get there. But we're playing it that way now, so you're welcome. And so my BSB doesn't care. And yeah, he's immune to psychology because of the Helm of Many Eyes because it gives him stupidity. So that's what ends up happening there. In combat over here, Berserk ends up having to issue a challenge. His Tyrant accepts, and Berserk blenders his Tyrant. He does 5 wounds to the Tyrant, 4 or 5 wounds to the Tyrant, which is enough because the Tyrant's already carrying 1 wound from the previous combat. So I end up finishing off his Tyrant, which is glorious. My unit is able to finish off his unit champion before he can strike, and I think we do a few to the unit as well. However, the Iron Guts are able to pop the last 6 of my warriors, which sucks. My unit is gone. I lose his combat, but Berserk is stubborn because of the crown and makes his break check. So we go to bottom of 4 after movement, and everything that can charge the Iron Guts does. The Demon Prince and the Skull Crushers and the BSB all slam into the Iron Guts, and we're just looking to murder them as fast as humanly possible. If I can take out his BSB, he doesn't have a leg to stand on anymore. You know, he's got to make that leadership 8 check because he's going to be stubborn. There's nothing I can do about that. Or steadfast, anyway. There's nothing I can do about that with where they're at. But it's better than nothing. And 1 shot is better than 2. Meanwhile, my chariot moves up to try to get a hold of his chariot just in case he charges or whatever he wants to do. And the Mutalith and Saval are still there to harass him. During my magic phase, I am able to get Infernal Gateway off on his Iron Blaster. And I end up doing 3 more wounds to it, so it's hanging on by a thread. However, I miscast in order to do it, and it's a miscast 10, and I lose 2 wizard levels. So Saval is no longer a magic user. He's just a badass. So there's that. In combat over here, Berserk issues a challenge. He accepts it with the only thing he can, which is his BSB, and Berserk rips him to pieces. And I'm sorry, against his Tyrant, he did roll in the Eye of the Gods chart after he killed him in the challenge, and he got +1 weapon skill. And in this one against his BSB, when he won this combat, I rolled in the Eye of the Gods chart, and I rolled a 7, which means he gets a reroll, which I don't remember if I ever actually use or not. The remainder in the combat, I slaughter a lot of his Iron Guts. This combat goes really, really well for me. And unfortunately, they're still steadfast. There's nothing I can do about that. They do make their check, but we go to top 5 after movement. And that's pretty much what it looks like. The cannon turns its back on the chariot, which I don't understand why I did that. I think, let me rephrase that. I do know why I did that. He wanted to take out my caster. He wanted to take Saval out because he wasn't happy with the Infernal Gateway. I don't know if he forgot that Saval was no longer a caster now, or if it was just a rage thing. But yeah, he turned on Saval quick, fast, and in a hurry. Other than that, everything is in combat or dead. So we go to a shooting phase, and he grape shots Saval and puts 2 wounds on him. I was able to 5-up ward save a couple of the wounds, so it worked out real nice. And Saval, although he is hanging on by a thread, he's still alive, which means points denial. Over here in combat, I flub pretty spectacularly. There's nothing to accept a challenge, so Berserk's just kind of on his own. He's able to put a wound in on my Skull Crushers. He's able to kill Berserk. I'm able to do a few wounds to him, but with banners, flanks, and I think what runes I had. I think I win this one by 1 or something, but he makes his break check because he's still steadfast. Here's bottom of 5 after movement, and I forget to charge with my Demon Prince, so that's my bad. However, I don't forget to charge with my Chariot, and it slams into the rear of his Iron Blaster. So I know right there with, you know, charge and a rear, I've already got this one, but I only need to do 1 more wound to this thing, and that's what I was hoping for. There's a better picture of the Chariot slamming into the back of the Iron Blaster. And there's a picture right after combat with the Iron Blaster. What ends up happening is I do like 3 or 4 impact hits to him, but I don't end up wounding. We get into combat, I get 1 wound at strength 5 through, and he fails to save it, and he dies. So that was awesome. He does end up regenning one of the wounds, the 1 wound I did to him in what's it called? An impact hits. So yeah, Warp Fire did bite me in the ass a little bit there, but in the end it didn't really matter, and I still really, really like the Lore Zinch. That Bolt of Change is just phenomenal, and Infernal Gateway is a lot of fun. So we go into this combat over here, and the Skull Crushers and my BSB go bat shite crazy. I end up killing three or four of the Iron Guts, or some insane amount. The Juggernauts, the Skull Crushers, the BSB, because the BSB's real, failed to hits because of the Helm of Many Eyes, giving him always strike first and stupidity. But I don't have to worry about stupidity because he's in combat. Yay! But yeah, I end up killing all but 2, breaking their steadfast, and they break, and we run them down. So they are gone. He's got nothing left on the table, and there's the end of the game. That's what the table looks like at the end of the game. Just everything's dead, and everything Chaos is just sitting there, happy as crap, because although it did cost me all my Khorne Warriors and my hero, I was able to not only engage a Iron Gut unit, but just take it off the table, get it down to 2 models, and kill it. So that really, really impressed me about this army. It really impressed me that just the amount of damage output I could do, especially to an Iron Gut brick, or any kind of Death Star for that matter. So I felt real confident with this one. But we'll get to the recap in a minute, because right now it's time for a quick timeout. Tokens, fellas. Tokens, tokens, tokens. Wound counters, augment markers, hex markers, every status, ailment, and effect you can think of, from not being able to move to the lore attributes to the lore hexes and bonuses that they provide. Everything that you can think of that you could need a marker for, that we use dice for, Token Grail makes the tokens. Send her an email, tell her what you need. Any gaming system, from Magic the Gathering to Infinity to Malifaux to 40k to Fantasy, whatever you need tokens for, she will make them, and they come out they're flawless. Look at them. They're the glass beads. They magnify the words in the picture, so they're really easy to see from the tabletop and everything like that. They're a lot more accurate than dice, and they're dirt cheap, guys. She sells them for less than $10 a kit. Dirt cheap prices, solid gold quality. Totally worth it. Send her an email, get yourself some tokens. The only request that I make is that if you are overseas, if you're outside of America, before you send her an email, you have to understand that shipping prices are through the roof. So as long as you're okay with paying like $30+ shipping fees, don't send her an email, because it's just going to waste both your times. But if you are in America, or you don't mind high shipping fees, then by all means send her an email, get yourself some tokens. Totally worth it. But yeah, after all was said and done, it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. I tabled my opponent. We didn't even bother totaling up the points because it was pretty obvious. I ended up losing Berserk, my Knights, my Warriors, and my Warhounds. The Ogres lost everything, which I felt pretty good about. One thing that I learned about this game that I hadn't actually seen before is that Berserk is a mother effing blender. With 6 attacks at strength 5, weapon skill 7, he was intense. It was very impressive. And having the Crown of Command on him was a perfect upgrade for him, because otherwise my unit would have broke first thing, because I lost by a lot that first round. It was bad. But the Crown of Command is a real game changer. I'm really happy I put it on Berserk, and yeah, he is badass. Killed a Tyrant and an Ogre Bruiser. The Tyrant he killed by himself. The Bruiser, yeah, there was a wound put on him already by his by his unit, but he still finished him off with the 3 extra wounds he had to do in order to kill him. So killing 2 ogre characters when you're just a hero yourself is a hard thing to do, and he killed a ogre lord general and a BSB, so I was very proud of that character. And I'm learning how to use my crushers a lot better. Apparently, when you charge with them, they do a lot better. Who knew, right? But this army is feeling good. Good. There's a couple of things that are bugging me about it, but I'll address those later. But this was definitely a fun game, definitely a good opponent, and I'm looking forward to the rematch very, very much. But there you have it, guys. Sorry it's been a little while since I post them. I try to do them a little bit more frequently than I have been. But with the holidays ending and getting back into the swing of things like going to work and stuff like that, and it's always that time of year where you're kind of dragging ass. So I apologize. I am trying. I am finding new pictures and stuff to put on here, which I'm really enjoying. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Battle Report number 79 is now in the history books. So as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.